Hi guys, Mons here. On today's episode of Ball with Mons, we're going to be going through Premier League Game Week 5 review. So, just before I get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel so far. If you do find yourself on my channel or any of my videos, make sure you click on the subscribe button and make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave a comment if you don't agree with what I say, or if you feel like you have something to say as well. Make sure you leave a comment, and don't be afraid to share the videos as well. I do appreciate all the support. I can't express enough gratitude to everyone who subscribes to my channel, everyone who watches my video, takes time out of the day to watch my video. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. So let's get started on the review for this week. So for this game week 5, going into game week 5 of this Premier League season, I felt this game week is going to be a very interesting game week because there was some couple of big games for at the top of the league and some relegation contenders as well. So I watched 2 full games because I was very busy this weekend with work. So the two full games I watched were Arsenal versus Man City and Man United versus Chelsea. I watched half of the Liverpool and Everton game, and I also watched some of the Spurs and Brighton game, and I also watched some of the Wolves and Leeds game. So I'm going to go through 2 games in details here. So that's going to be Arsenal versus Man City and Man United versus Chelsea. So the first one we're going to go through is Arsenal versus Man City. Going into this game, I felt Arsenal were heavy favourites. I felt they should have been able to beat City pretty easy enough if they played up to their full potential. But that's another topic about Arsenal playing up to their full potential, especially going forward offensively. I feel Arsenal don't take enough risks offensively. They're too worried about conceding, so that their flair players don't express themselves to their full capabilities, in my opinion. So this game ended 1-1, draw. I predicted an Arsenal win, but the game ended 1-1. It was basically attack versus defense. Man City basically went to Emirates to sit back and counter attack, which is totally understandable if I'm being completely honest with you, because they felt Arsenal were the superior team. And Man City felt they were the inferior team, so they went up to Emirates just to sit back and counter attack, which is completely understandable in my opinion. And also, I saw a stat there. This is Pep Guardiola's lowest possession in terms of the team keeping possession. I think it was 38% possession or 28% possession. I think it was 38% possession they had. This is the lowest Pep Guardiola's team has ever kept. I've ever had possession in his whole entire managerial career. So, which is very, very strange because we know Pep as a manager would like to keep the ball, play beautiful football. But it's good to see Pep acknowledge that his team isn't the best. And I think the best thing about Pep the last couple of years is self-awareness. He's good as a manager, he's also good as a human being. I know some managers, Amorim, has no self-awareness whatsoever. Sticks to one system, believes in one system, and only want to play one way. But shout out to Pep for knowing his team is inferior. He needs to change his style of play. We saw him last year, I think a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, going to basically play 4 centre halves as two centre halves as fullbacks, and obviously having 2 centre halves again. So Pep has changed a little bit in terms of the way he plays, because he has basically, as a manager, you have to, even as a human being, you have to adapt to situations you're in. And I know, like I said, Amorim doesn't do that. So shout out to Pep for adapting to the situation he's in. Arsenal had a lot of possession. Arsenal huffed and puffed. Arsenal, they lack imagination, lack creativity, in my opinion. Arsenal lack taking a lot of risk, especially offensively. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, it's just so bland the way Arsenal play. Side pass, go to the wing, back inside. Side pass, go to the wing, back inside. And there's no space. Like recycle the ball. Like try crossing some of the ball in. Try pushing the ball into the centre forward's feet. And also talking about your centre forward, you can forget about Viktor Gyökeres in big games. The chap is a flat track bully. In big games, he's going to offer you close to nothing. You're basically playing with 10 men if you have Viktor Gyökeres in a big game, because he's going to offer you nothing going forward in a big game, in my opinion. When you play against better defenders, Gyökeres is going to offer you absolutely nothing offensively. And like I said, he's a flat track bully. Smaller teams, he's going to absolutely bully the defenders, get his goals, get his assists, play really well, everything. But against bigger teams, like I said, Gyökeres, that's his MO. He's not going to give you anything against bigger teams. So against the run of play, Man City went 1-0 up. It was actually, they won the ball back. Haaland actually, I think, tipped the ball to, it could have been Bernardo Silva. Then he played it to Rangers, and then Rangers carried the ball. You could see Haaland just bursting past and making a beautiful run. And Rangers just slid it into him, and Haaland finished it accordingly, which is it was a very good move. It was very, very good. That's what you call counter-attacking football. It was a very, very good move, very good goal. And I was a bit like, this season, Haaland's been fantastic. He's carrying that Man City team. I think he's the leader in that team now. I know he only came there, what, 3 years ago? 3 years ago? But he's a leader in that team now because that team is, I think that Man City team is going through a transitional period. And Pep, like I said, has to coach his ass off this year if he wants to be anywhere near contending for the Premier League. I think Man City looked the more dangerous team, especially in the first half, whenever they tried to counter-attack. Arsenal huffed and puffed. They didn't really do much. They lacked creativity. There was no killer ball. You need to be, like I said, you need to be pushing the ball into centre forward, making the runs off the centre half. But Gyökeres wasn't offered any of that. Gyökeres' touch is very heavy as well for a so-called top-class centre forward. I'm very, very surprised in that regards. And his all-around play isn't great either, trying to get others involved. He's so used to having so much acres of space to run in behind and carry the ball. I think Gyökeres needs to change his style of play just a little bit because he needs to stay more centrally and he needs to be more of a clinical finisher and more of a guy that finishes off the moves rather than a guy that wants to get involved in the move. If you understand what I'm saying, because Arsenal don't need another guy like that. Arsenal need a guy that's going to be waiting in that box, going to waiting to receive the ball into fit, last shoulder defender, run off the defenders, and try to bury the ball. Because Arsenal will try to create chances, but they need better movement from Gyökeres, in my opinion. Eventually, when Eze came on, Eze is an absolute baller. I hope Arteta does not ruin him. When Eze came on, it looked Arsenal looked a lot better going forward, and his killer ball to over the top to Martinelli was brilliant. And Martinelli finished. Take a bow, Martinelli. That was some finish, chipping the goalkeeper. I felt Donnarumma shouldn't have came out because his defender had him. So I think that was a mistake from Donnarumma, in my opinion. To chip a keeper like Donnarumma, tip my cap up to Martinelli. That was a brilliant finish. What a finish. And we actually got a grandstand finish of the game, which is very good because I felt the game was basically phasing out. Arsenal was just having the ball, side passing. And there wasn't really much danger of Arsenal score up until then. And Eze obviously provided a killer pass. That's basically my summary of that game. I felt, like I said, going into it, for Arsenal were going to win, but obviously the game ended in a draw. It was a good game. I enjoyed watching it. Some part of the game I didn't really enjoy, but most of the game was okay, I guess. Big games nowadays aren't really interesting anymore because teams are so scared of losing. Anyways, on to the second game I watched in full. So, the second game I watched in full is Man United versus Chelsea. So, going into this game, I predicted Man United win because I felt we weren't going to lose another game right after losing to one of our rivals, Man City, last week. And I felt at home at Old Trafford, Chelsea never really come to Old Trafford and win. We got the win, but to me, for some reason, it felt like a loss. I was very happy we got the win because we needed those 3 points on the board. We can't get too far behind, especially in top 4 places. We got the win, and also I'm really saying he's not going to change the system. Fair play to him, yeah, because it only took for the opposition to be the down man for the system to actually work. So Jesus Christ, who knew that the opposition needs to be down to 10 men before the Amorim's system actually work? Surprise, surprise there. I just felt like the system does it suit United. I don't know what he's going to do long term. I hope it changes the system long term, but that system just doesn't suit United. We look good when Chelsea were down to 10 men. That's the only time the system actually worked. And when Bruno pushed further up, surprise, surprise again. Like I said, play Bruno further up, you will get a goal or assist out of him literally in every game or every second game. And Bruno scored for us in this game. I felt Dorgo was very good in this game. I was very, very critical of him last week, especially his final ball. And I'm still critical of him again in terms of his final ball, but he was a little bit better this week. Dorgo movement is great. It gets some amount of space. Or do teams know he's very poor delivering the ball and they actually let him get the ball? So that's 50-50 in my opinion. Yeah, maybe teams set up to let Dorgo get the ball because they feel he's not very dangerous in getting to them, in my opinion. Maybe that's what teams do. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look out for more because so far this season, we always see Dorgo end up with the ball with a lot of time, a lot of space. Maybe teams do that on purpose because they feel he cannot hurt them from that position. Like I said, we look good when Chelsea were down to 10 men, and Maresca is an absolute idiot as well. Why would you just go to Old Trafford? You're down 1-0, was it 1 or 2-0, and you're down to 10 men, and you basically took off every single one of your attackers. I think it was just 1-0. The game was still 0-0 back then. Took off every single one of their attackers. It was absolutely shocking to watch. You don't know how the game is going to pan out. You're taking off every single one of your creative players. And then, when Man United went 2-0 up, I felt we were going to go ahead and win the game. And Casemiro, I love Casemiro. He's probably one of my favorite midfielders over the past 10 to 15 years in terms of watching him when he was Porto, Real Madrid, and then Man United. But he's so stupid for getting sent off in a game we had total control of. You're up a man, 2-0 up, at home to one of your rivals, and you make two stupid tackles. You know the refs are just looking for an excuse to even up the game. It was so stupid. I expected a lot better for Casemiro, for a guy who was that experienced. Like the amount of caps that he got for his country, the amount of caps he played for Real Madrid, and the amount of time he played football just in general. You made a stupid tackle like that. You put the team under more pressure, and the game Man United could have lost that game simply because Casemiro was an idiot who got sent off in this game. As soon as he got that yellow card, I said to lads, I said Casemiro is going to get sent off in this game. It was so obvious because he's such an idiot. When you're in a yellow card, why are you grabbing a hold of a man? You're just giving the ref an excuse to send you off, in my opinion. When the game was 10v10, Man United looked absolutely shocking. I think Chelsea had over 70% of possession in this game in the second half. And United were very blessed not to end up either drawing this game or losing this game. It was just, the players just looked completely, like the manager, also Amorim, his in-game management, absolutely shocking. Like I haven't seen a manager this bad at in-game management. I remember one stage, it was going to take off from Bremo, and Bremo was always out ball. If Mazraoui didn't get injured, he would have taken off from Bremo early enough in the second half, which is ridiculous. Like I'm like, why? Honestly, I get so annoyed every week watching this guy from the sideline coach make stupid decisions every single week in games. I honestly, to be honest with you, I hope it works out for him because I want to see my team do well. I don't want to come up here every single week and complain about this team. I know we won, but it feels like we lost this game. And I'm just looking through a couple of the other notes here. Like when the team was even 10-10, we just didn't look like Chelsea looked like a much better team. But also Maresca the idiot took off all his attackers and basically had no options going forward again, because basically when the game was 10-10, if Chelsea have kept up maybe Estevao or let's say Pedro Neto, they might have actually gone back into the game and went on to win it. Because when the game was 2-0, 10-10, Man United looked absolutely shook, didn't know what to do. And even when we were even 11-10, when we looked good, the midfield still looked very open. So I don't even know if the players are idiots or it's a manager system at this stage. So also, every Amorim fan, all the Amorim fanboys, all the Amorim blind witnesses are sending me messages saying, "Oh, we have 7 points. We're only 3 behind Man City, 3 behind Arsenal." We've played 3 of the toughest team. I think we played Chelsea, Arsenal, and we've also played Chelsea, Arsenal. I think we played another big team. Played Chelsea, Arsenal, and I can't remember. Oh, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City. That's the 3 big teams we played. We have 7 points so far out of 5 games, which is a good return considering the teams we played. However, it's not about, for me, it's also about how we play, how the players are playing, how they look on the pitch. And to be completely honest with you, this Man United team looked absolutely terrible on the pitch. Like I know we won the game, but my goodness, man, it was just about some of the body. And also, I will also say to the Amorim blind witnesses, if you're sending me memes about how Amorim is doing well because we have 7 points, we'll come back to this in December, and I can guarantee you that brother is going to coach absolutely like an idiot till December, and his fan is still going to back him blindly as well, which is completely unacceptable in my opinion. But like I said, we'll come back to it in December. I'm going to back the team as always, because I always back my team. I always want my team to win. So I'm going to back the team. We're going to come back to this topic in December, and we'll see how Amorim has done since then, up until then. And also, the Man United players were completely embarrassing. My goodness, you're up a man, you're up 1 or 2-0, and you're beating your chest, encouraging. Like, what are you doing? Like, when the game is level, and when it's 11-11, when you're down, we don't see any of this passion. These players are front runners. Every single one of them are front runners. I think it was Amad Diallo beating his chest, trying to get the crowd to rise up and stuff like that. Man, that's just being a front runner. When we need you, when the game is a draw, when we're down a goal or two, when it's 11-11, we don't see any of these idiotic players doing anything like this. So this passion is just a show, And to me, it just shows the character of the Man United players. They're all front runners, in my opinion. That's basically it for me for the United game.